Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently exploring the book Integral Yoga, authored by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. We are currently on the chapter of Raja Yoga or the Yoga of Meditation. The basic structure of Raj Yoga is laid out in 8 steps. The first 5 are external, that is, they are performed by the body. The last 3 are internal or more mental in nature. The first 2 steps are known as the restraints and observances, known as yamas and niyamas, and lay down an ethical foundation for the practice of yoga. They are similar to the 10 commandments in the Bible. There are 5 restraints and 5 observances and are briefly enumerated as follows. The first restraint is non violence or ahimsa. This is the first basic virtue of yoga ethics and supersedes all others in importance. We also say ahimsa paramo dharma, meaning ahimsa or non-violence is the highest virtue, highest dharma. It is practiced by not hurting anyone in thought, word, or action and implies a feeling of universal love towards all of life and an understanding that one life flows through all of us. Whoever hurts anyone hurts himself. It is on that philosophical basis that we practice non violence, the insight that all living beings are essentially one. It is easy to react to abusive attack. If someone shouts at you, you shout back only louder. If someone slaps you, you proudly slap him back harder. But the person in turn only builds more bitterness towards you, and the cycle continues. It is more difficult and much more heroic to restrain violent inclinations towards others. The second great virtue is truthfulness or satyam and implies many things. It implies being truthful to oneself through sincerity. Self sincerity is very important, for it does not allow you to rationalize your errors. It allows you to see them as they are so you can correct them. The second implication of truthfulness is that of being outwardly truthful, speaking the truth. But note, this is conditioned by the law of non violence. If the truth is going to hurt someone, then don't speak it. Say nothing. Your intention behind speaking the truth should promote truth by helping people, by persuading them to be better, not bitter. The third virtue is called brahmacharya, and that means literally means celibacy. The implication of sublimating the sex energy has far reaching effects in the study of yoga. The simple understanding is that the mind runs after food, drink, and sex only when it does not have a better dimension, a lofty perspective of universal love and higher ideals. If the mind has not been presented with that higher ideal, it gravitates to repetitive experiences of food, drink, and sex. That process continues endlessly without any substantial satisfaction, creating more and more craving or trishna. Brahmacharya or celibacy does not imply an unthinking withdrawal of sex life, but rather an intelligent handling of it. Those who are advanced do not need that life, that sexual life, and those who are less advanced enter a householder's life and follow a regulated sex involvement with the perspective of rising beyond that sexual consciousness in order to attain higher ideals and goals, meaning their mind is now moving towards loftier things. But those who lack this insight deplete their mental energy. Their life becomes a never ending and unsatisfying circle, running from one hollow pleasure to another. These first three virtues are the most important and are fundamental to progress in yoga. The fourth restraint is non stealing or asteya, implying freedom from desiring, misappropriating, or taking the possessions of others. Non covetousness is known as aparigraha, the fifth, and it is practiced by living simply and possessing little. Instead of hoarding objects, live a life of utter simplicity. The fewer the possessions, the easier it is for the mind to enjoy an atmosphere of peace. Therefore, travel through life with as little cumbersome baggage as possible. Towards inner culture. Next, we will briefly mention the ethical observances or niyamas to be promoted in life according to Raj Yoga. The first is called purity or shauch, and it refers both to physical and mental purity. Keeping the body clean and healthy by following hygienic laws and pure diet in the practice of external purity are important. Keeping the mind free from jealousy, hatred, anger, and other negative sentiments is the practice of internal purity. Contentment or santosh is the second and implies keeping the mind free from desires for the objects of the world. If this is done, the mind will remain unagitated in all situations of life because desires are endless. It's like drinking mirage waters, they can never satisfy. Third is austerity or tapas. This is the practice of developing physical and mental endurance in different circumstances of life. Remain unaffected and unagitated amidst life's varying conditions. Austerity will be discussed in more detail as we will move on to Kriya Yoga. Fourth is the study of elevating scriptures, also known as Swadhyaya. Swa Adhyay. Adhyay means chapter, Swa means self. So, the knowledge of the self through wisdom. And sharing the knowledge of great men, especially in the field of philosophy and spirituality. Study the elevating texts such as Upanishads, yoga books, Quran, Bible, or any religious book that you like, and others with an open mind and profound interest. Fifth is called surrender to God or Ishwar Pranidhana, devoting yourself to God. God is the supreme reality behind the entirety of existence, and surrender implies an understanding that the world is ruled by a divine plan. Therefore, do your best, but do not become upset if your action does not bring the expected result. You must always realize there is a principle behind the world that knows better than you. Let yourself be handled by the divine plan. Feel you are a traveler in a train. You needn't carry a bundle on your head. Relax, the train is already carrying it. Let it carry it for you, and that is the practice of surrender. Health in a mind and body. Following these first two steps of yama and niyama, then comes the third aspect of Raja Yoga called asana or physical pose. Under asana come the entire yoga of physical exercises, more commonly known as Hatha Yoga. The purpose of Hatha Yoga is multi aspected and is meant to maintain a high level of physical health with a minimum of effort. It is also meant to prepare the body to remain in one pose, a meditative pose, without any discomfort for a long duration of time. so that the mind can easily flow towards lofty states of awareness. They say if you can stay in one pose for 3 hours, then you attain mastery over that pose. So it's a gradual process to do this. After asana comes pranayama, or control of the vital energy. In the normal study of health and vitality, people concern themselves with food, nutrition, and vitamins. Pranayama concerns itself with the subtler forms of energy, also known as prana, which is directly related to the mind. If your mind is happy, a positive form of energy enters the body and your entire system feels rejuvenated. This is independent of food. On the other hand, if your mind is depressed, that flow of energy is withdrawn and you feel dull and lethargic. Furthermore, if the subtle energy that governs the law of food and its assimilation, it is a very powerful form of energy that does things without our conscious awareness also. If prana or vital energy is lacking, then in spite of all good and nutritious food a person eats, there will be no effect because the prana is not effective, not healthy. So we will continue this journey in tomorrow's satsang. Hari Om Tat Sat.